Alf, is it too much to ask? Can we make collecting sports cards great again? Today, we're going to show some cards from my collection, just kind of talk through a couple of talking points, some things that have been on my mind. Stick around. What's going on, sports card hobby family? Another day, another sports card video. Hope that everybody is doing amazingly well. Are we collecting sports cards these days? What are we doing? Are we just gambling? We just chasing hits? What is going on in our hobby world? It's a little bit of a weird time, and we will talk through it. Before I dive in, our Tuesday shout-outs, Card Capsule. Guys, Shop30 code on Card Capsule. I got links down below to take you there. Shop30 promo code gives you 30% off the waterproof cases, all the supplies that you need. The best supplies, lowest prices. Check out Card Capsule. JustCollect.com. Leighton Sheldon and the team over there. You're trying to figure out what is my collection worth, trying to sell off some stuff. They have a very easy appraisal form on the JustCollect.com website to fill out. They will get back to you. And also, they've got a great Just Collect YouTube channel where Leighton goes over recent pickups, collections, different strategies that he's got going on. So make sure to check out the Just Collect YouTube channel. Also, we've got the Air Show, the Michael Jordan focused Air Show coming to town at the end of April in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where, of course, MJ hit the big shot to beat Georgetown to win the national championship before he went on to become the greatest basketball player of all time. This is going to be a really fun event. Reach out to me directly to learn about exhibiting at the show, attending the show, and all the goodness. All right, can the hobby be any more strange than it is today? I mean, my gosh, the pitfalls that are out there, even more so than what we've had in years past, where you're watching out for trimming, where you have to watch out for card cleaning, where you have to watch out for shady this or shady that, all sorts of CT scanning. There's all sorts of pitfalls, I feel like booby traps out here in the hobby, but there is one thing that people can do to avoid a lot of these booby traps, not all of them. Of course, there's always going to be stuff that is out there, but one thing that I have noticed, and we've talked about this over the last couple of years especially, new product is very, very expensive, but one of the benefits of expensive new product is the singles market really has been flourishing with lower prices. Now, on the hype cards, if there's going to be new prospects coming out where you've just got a lot of excitement around certain players, then yeah, you're still going to see high prices on those types of cards. Maybe some of it's justified, maybe some of it is not. But one thing is, if you're not chasing the hot prospect or you're not chasing GOATs, I've got Michael Jordan cards and Tom Brady cards. There's people that collect Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle, of course. However, if you look down the line a little bit at some of your favorite players that aren't necessarily GOATs of the sport, the best player in 30 years, that type of thing, but maybe like one level down from that, my guy in football, you guys know, we're going to show some cards today and just kind of talk through this. Other than my Tom Brady cards, I've got Drew Brees. So I'm a diehard New Orleans Saints fan. We're season ticket holders. And unfortunately, my Saints are playing about the most uninspired football in the NFL currently. It's been really, really bad. And I think if anyone watches the NFL, you can see it. Coaching changes are needed, some personnel changes, salary cap adjustments. There's all sorts of problems down there in the Big Easy. But I've been a fan since I was 6 years old, so we're going on, 37 years of being a fan. I've been through the thick and the thin, and we will keep on battling on like we always do. All right, so if I look at Drew Brees compared to a Tom Brady, for these same cards, we're talking about like 10% of the price a lot of times, 10, 15, 20% of the price. If this card is $1,000 for Tom Brady, it's probably $150, $200 maybe for Drew Brees. So this presents great value for me. Now, is it something am I going to retire off of my Drew Brees cards? Am I counting on that? No, I'm not counting on that. But I get to collect one of my favorite players, the best New Orleans Saint to ever suit up, and I can get great cards for this player. Cards that are tough to find, chase cards that are a fraction of buying the GOATs, a fraction of buying some of these other players. I like to have a good mix. I want to have the GOAT stuff. I want to have some nice cards, but then I like collecting other players. Now, what's happened here is, of course, being a Saints fan, Drew Brees is my guy, but one guy I've been kind of moving over to, especially over the last 12 months, and you get even more of a discount as a collector because this guy plays running back. Alvin Kamara, I was so happy to see Alvin Kamara re-up with the Saints. To be perfectly honest, I would not have blamed him at all to say, you know what, I'm going to go to the Chiefs, take a little less money maybe, and try to win a Super Bowl with Mahomes and the gang. I would not have faulted him one bit. He has really been a guy with a great attitude. He says that he loves the organization, that we've been good to him, and we have. We've paid him well and that sort of a thing. But we just have not put a team around this guy to really make this happen. And really the coaching, too, just has been substandard. So the fact that he re-upped, that was another thing where I was like, I'd already been buying some of his cards, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to get a couple more of his stuff. So this is an example of a card. I had shown this in a video prior, but this was $499. Buy it now. It had popped up. There was a PSA 10 of this card. This is the Optic Gold out of 10, the autograph version. So this is one of the best Alvin Kamara rookie cards that there are. One of the best. It popped up at $499. About 3 months ago, a PSA 10 of the same card was up for about $650, and it sold, I think, for like $775, and I missed it. I'm kicking myself now. But once I saw the 9 pop up, again, there's only 10 copies of this card, I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to try to message this guy. I'm just going to buy it, because I want this card. I don't want to really play around with it. Could I maybe have gotten it at 400 or something? Maybe, but I really don't care because, again, so we just talked about Brees. Alvin Kamara is going to go down as the most prolific offensive weapon that the Saints have ever had. Brees, when he was playing, he had Marcus Colston. He had some good, Pierre Thomas was a good back for us. We had Deuce McAllister, a good back. But we've never really had a playmaker quite like Alvin Kamara going back to 1967. We just have not had it. Dalton Hilliard was a great back going back to the Dome Patrol days. But Alvin Kamara has been the most exciting. He's kind of our Marshall Faulk, our Thurman Thomas, that we've had. And he's been great. And I like the fact that he's just got a great attitude and all of that stuff. So, $500, I can get another Brees card. Of course, I could get a cool Brees card, but Brees has a lot of cards in the $500 range. For Kamara, I can get one of his best rookies for $500. Another example of this, the Contenders Gold Auto. So this is also numbered to 10. If you look up kind of the Patrick Mahomes is the same rookie year, 2017, you're talking many multiples. But this card I got for $300 to $350 and a PSA 9. Again, I don't really care about the grade because it is a gold out of 10 of, again, one of my PC guys for Kamara. And then one that I'm really excited I was able to nail down is the True Prism Gold. It's a BGS 9.5. And this one had popped up maybe a year ago, 9 months to a year ago. And it popped up, I think, for like $750 OBO. And I got this card for $525 for the gold, the true gold, numbered out of 10. And I know what many will say is, yeah, these are running back cards. Nobody cares about running backs. The thing I would say to that, though, is when I started collecting going back in time, in 1988, when it was just baseball cards, and of course you had the glossy 89 Upper Deck, everyone was excited about it. Then people started getting basketball and football as Beckett magazine started to come out. Those first Beckett basketball magazine was April of 1990. And that's when it kind of put some of this stuff on the map. You started to see more emphasis on these cards and just more interest in them. And I could say the same thing about these sorts of things. Over time, maybe these, the best cards for some of these great backs, some of these great defensive players, frankly, maybe they are something that people are collecting more of because we are coming into a world where there's a zillion different parallels. So do you want another, parallel down the line of Justin Herbert? Who is a quarterback? Granted, he's a quarterback. Or do you want to get for the same price or possibly a lot less, you can get one of the best running backs in the game, their Gold Prism. These are kind of things that seem fairly easy for me to figure out, but I know the hobby does what the hobby does and people kind of do their own thing and collect however they want to collect. My main point, though, as I'm coming back to this is if you're not chasing GOATs or you're not chasing kind of that hot quarterback, if we're talking about football, in basketball, it's really no different. If you're not chasing Wembanyama, who right now it's kind of like hype is on 1,000, great player, amazing, but the prices reflect that. If you go down the line, in some of these guys, and, if we look at guys, I was looking at Steph Curry and LeBron have kind of already solidified themselves as all-time greats. Their pricing reflects it, but if you go down another notch, I know, what is it? Splenda, I think. One of the guys, Splenda, collects Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's a good example of this. He's kind of like a Drew Brees, basketball. He's just not as popular, but amazing players, got amazing stat line. He's done great things, but he just doesn't have that same hobby love that you would see in some of these other guys. Or I don't know, Dwayne Wade is another one. God, so sorry, Dwayne, for that statue they just put out in Miami that looks horrific. The memes on that stuff, the memes are incredible. But Dwayne Wade, another guy, beloved in Miami, won a couple of titles, he was a great player, but if you look at his cards compared to, some of the other guys that just get a lot more fanfare, there's a pretty steep discount. Or if you are a collector, if you're a Miami Heat collector, look, if you're a Miami Heat guy, then Dwayne Wade is your guy. If you're a long-time Miami Heat fan, I mean, Dwayne Wade is it. I know LeBron came down and, he took his talents to Miami, but really it's Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade was the guy that was there, and he was magnificent, at his height. There's all sorts of examples of this. Kevin Garnett. I know there's a Vince Carter. Vince Carter's got a pretty deep collector base as well. There's all these kind of niche players that aren't necessarily top of mind for everybody. But again, going back to the just expensive new product out there, when you look at I could put $500 to $1,000 into a hobby box, or I can get, a gold prism rookie of one of my favorite players on my favorite team for the same price, and I don't rip it and then get $50 of cards out of it and then go and scream into a pillow for the next few hours. I mean, is this that hard to figure out? Maybe, and look, maybe it is, but we need more collectors in the space. We've got the gamblers and we've got the Shine 150s buying the $1 zillion cards. We need more of just the average Joe family, the dad, the son, the daughter that are getting into it. I'll throw the wife in there too. The family's getting into it, kind of like, who's our favorite player? Derrick Henry for the Ravens. Oh, cool. What kind of card? Derrick Henry, I know he's probably gotten a little bit of a spike recently because he's still playing strong. Derrick Henry's another one of these guys. He's got all-time stats. He's an unbelievable, he's going to go down as an all-time running back. Look at his cards. Compared to some of these other kind of prospect new guys. Quarterbacks, throw the friggin' any quarterback, and people are just like, oh, but that's a running back. Yeah, but that's a running back. You don't have to just follow the crowd. You can also just collect great cards for great players, regardless of position. Whoever, even defensive players, that's such a fun thing to look at. Ed Reed cards or Ray Lewis cards or whatever. There's some all-time great defensive players. When you look at some of their really nice cards, they're a fraction of all the other stuff. So it's an interesting hobby time because there's been such a big push on all the big hits and all the new product, but there's not enough focus around player collectors or just specific set collectors. I'm focused in on this set from the past or whatever. And that is really kind of the meat and potatoes that's going to keep the whole thing running. Because what won't keep the whole thing running, as we've talked about, is the 80 to 90% of people that churn through breaks, that lose and never come back. We hope that some of them kind of get over to the single side. And that's why I make videos like this. Just trying to compare to you again. $525 gold prism 2017 Mahomes rookie set, friggin' all-time great football set 2017 prism, or go buy stupid hobby box of XYZ new product. And $500 will get you 1/13 of a Topps Mercury box, or whatever that math is. Stupid. It's stupid. Anyway, we need more collectors in the space. Let's make collecting sports cards great again, my friends. Hope that you all have an amazing day ahead. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.